Good morning, good afternoon, and good night to every single one of you out there watching this video. Welcome to today's gaming news. We have plenty to talk about, so let's start with... Last week, Sony gave an update on important plans. Recently, Sony Interactive and live service games have been in the same group affiliation. They bought Bungie and announced several games all center around the same thing, live service, in one of their most recent State of Play live streams. Essentially, Sony has been cementing their spot to make their future within live service, a concern for many, and delight and interest for others. Now, as the future that Sony has envisioned, live service is a huge deal. However, last week, the publisher announced half of their live service games have been delayed. Or maybe not announced, but games that they have been working on. Originally, Sony planned to release a total of 12, which are now only 6. During an earnings call on Thursday of last week, the following was said: "We are reviewing these. We are trying as much as possible to ensure these games are enjoyed and liked by gamers for a long time. Of the 12 titles, 6 titles will be released by fiscal year of 25. That's our current plan. And as for the remaining 6 titles, we're still working on that. That's the total number of live service and multiplayer titles. Mid to long term, we want to push this kind of service, and that's the unchanged policy of the company. It's not like we stick to certain titles, but game quality should be the most important thing." First off, it's good Sony is considering quality and putting it up front as the main consideration on the game's creation. Quality over quantity. Now, what makes people nervous, one of those people being me, is the future lineup. Most of what was announced during Sony's State of Play during June and July, almost half of those games were live service as original PlayStation. Everything else was third-party in AR or VR games. Since we don't know what has been delayed and what's still coming out on its original date, then it is safe to say that probably not a lot will come out next year of what we saw announced. If we put this in perspective, what games we're looking forward to next year? Almost none PlayStation exclusive so far. If I am wrong, correct me. Please correct me, because I'm not saying that third-party games aren't going to come out, but if you are invested in this platform on their ecosystem, this should be a concern. You're paying for that specific console. What games are they going to give it to you? Especially if it's the only place you play on, right? If you don't have a PC, if you don't have a Switch, if you don't have an Xbox, then what are you going to play for? What are you going to play? Staying in the topic of live service, Warner Bros. Said last week they will, quote-unquote, transform its biggest franchises into live service games. I know you must be thinking, oh no, here we go again. And I'm with you on this one. Warner hasn't dipped its toes into the dangerous and stormy waters of the ocean that are controlled by a few and lost by many. To put a context to what I'm referring, just this year alone, a total of 6 live service games have lost their support, completely shut down. Some of them didn't even have a year of release. Live service is a tough crowd to win. I'm thinking Warner is turning gears. You know what? We have Harry Potter, DC games, Lego, and so much more that people love. Why not milk every franchise with a sweet and strong live service game? Players will deposit hundreds of dollars even after paying the pace of entrance. We cannot say no because players have already done this. We are past that point. People will pay anything just to get access to a useless but eccentric skin or booster XP, materials, mechanics just to avoid the grind. We've seen it, we know it, it's happened in the past and will happen again. There's a reason why Warner released Hogwarts Legacy without Quidditch and instead created a live service game for it. They knew from the start of the game's development what they wanted to do. Now, the reason I'm ranting about this is not just because I'm angry, and more of, if they start making live service games, that only means single player experiences will have a smaller and less focus. That's what concerns me. It is also clear that Kill the Justice League game is heavily focused on live service, just like Gotham Knights almost became into one, though probably during development that idea was squashed. However, Kill the Justice League, from what has been shown so far, is not steering away from those ideas. What helps a ton for a live service game is having a narrative. Most of the biggest games out there have one. We got Fortnite, although a crazy one, Apex Legends, and Destiny 2 as examples, each with its own story that dives players into lore galore and keeps them entertained for a while. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League seems to want to follow that path, as it has been announced the launch of a video series that will unpack the story and gameplay from the game. The first episode will come out this week. But I guess this is their next way of trying to lure players into getting more into the live service game idea. I'm still unsure this is gonna work, because people are getting tired of live service games. Now for the big upcoming gaming event. The 2023 Game Awards are almost here. In 3 weeks, tons of announcements, which are the most important thing, and of course celebrations for the achievements of many games. Monday morning, November 13, today, as of recording this, nominees were announced. 2 big competitors had the biggest number of nominations. Baldur's Gate 3, which is really not a surprise, and Alan Wake, the newest game by the creators of Control, which has been giving a lot of talks to people that have tried it. Now, both of them are up for 8 prizes and ahead of every other game, though Spider-Man 2 trails behind by 1 nomination. A total of 31 awards will be given, though I just want to mention some of the categories or nominees because they have something special about them. I will say 2023 was packed with great games. It is near impossible to have every single one as nominated. I'm serious, there's a ton. And don't worry, I say this since I've been creating a series of the best of the greatest games of each month, and it has been a big list, especially for August. So soon you'll see those videos. Don't worry, you'll enjoy them. Now going back to the topic, Game of the Year has 6 nominees: Alan Wake and Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Quite a stellar list, every single one of them. Each of those games are an A+ on its own. The debate and fights are gonna be interesting to see, of course. Now, for the other thing I wanted to speak about that comes with the Game Awards is the joke, the big irony, the big problem in the luring thing. Why Game Awards? Why would you nominate Destiny 2 for Best Community Support? That's like a slap to the community, you know? With the huge problems they've been having since the start of the year with Lightfall and everything else that has happened since then. Why? Just why, Game Awards? Why? Either way, what do you guys think? Who will take the main prize? And what announcements are you excited to hear about? I wanna know what you guys think in the comments. Now time for some quick updates. Nintendo will hold an Indie World live stream on Tuesday, November 14, tomorrow pretty much, at 12 p.m. Eastern. The presentation will be live on Nintendo's YouTube channel and their main webpage. According to the company, it will roughly be around 20 minutes. So stay tuned for those reviews. I'll cover the event on tomorrow's news video or on Wednesdays. Another one, Steam will be making some changes that will benefit any gamer that wishes for some quiet, or rather privacy, regarding the amount of time they have on a specific game or specific games. Don't want your friends to know you spent 2,000 hours on that one incriminating or guilty pleasure game? Well, Steam will release a new feature that will allow you to put private specific games and not let anyone know you have played them or even have them. So you can imagine where the meme is going with this one. Finally, last quick update. The last couple of weeks, Xbox has been making some big moves. New leadership was appointed. Matt Booty was moved as the head honcho over at ZeniMax, and to cover his spot, Alan Hartman has been placed as the head of Xbox Game Studios. Previously, he was the boss of the Forza development and creative creation of the game, and now he enjoys a new seat on the throne. But that's all for this episode. What are your thoughts on this gaming news? Let me know in the comment section. I'm the Honeyburger, and I love to talk about everything gaming from news to games. If you liked the video, remember to leave a like and share. It really helps. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Keep on gaming.